Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana hobby guy. Are you wondering how we make these multi-layered plaques, you know, two, three, eight pieces of wood, eight different layers and signs, things like that? Well, stay right there because we're going to cover that today. I'm going to show you how to do it in Lightburn with almost any graphic. Alright, so here we are in Lightburn, and oh, I forgot to turn this camera off. I'll leave it up there for now. That actually doesn't look too bad. That's a good way to do picture-in-picture, I guess. Alright, so if you're wondering why my grid looks different today, it's only because I've changed some of the settings. I've taken this down to 1mm squares, grid spacing, and just because it makes it easier to move objects, get them in the right position. If you wanted to do this, you could jump up to the top here to the gear icon, and you can play with your grid spacing and your snap distances and all that kind of stuff just by changing these numbers around. Get it to where, you know, wherever it is that you want it. So let's get started. A friend of mine last night, Jerry over at 3DHP, he's a good friend. In fact, I'll probably be on his live stream this week, and I pop in there from time to time. He sent me a graphic that he purchased off of Etsy, and I said, well, why are you purchasing graphics off of Etsy? I guess I should talk into this camera. And he just, you know, didn't want to bother me, I guess, or whatever. So he was having trouble with it, and he couldn't get an outer line to cut out a heart. And I said, well, just send it to me and I'll fix it. You know, most of the graphics you're going to get off of Etsy are copied from somewhere else. They're not original designs, and people just looking to make money on them. So it's like a quick buck, quick turnover. And many of them don't ever work. And I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about that have purchased files off Etsy. So I went ahead and fixed it, sent it back to him. But today I'm going to do something different. And from this video, I'm going to send him this template when I'm finished, and maybe he'll like this one better. I don't know. But let's get started with it anyway. So here's how it works. You want to make some layers, right? It's not as hard as you might think. I mean, it looks hard, but it's not. Let's bring out a graphic from the library, and being that it's, you know, Valentine's Day coming up, we may as well go ahead and do this. Here's one that I made, I guess, about 2 years ago. And this one can be customized. So we're going to get into a couple different things today. We're going to get into making layers, and I'm going to show you just the basic foundation. We're going to make one cut layer so that you have two layers. And we're also going to get into node editing so that you can edit the graphics that you already have. So let's do that now. Let's go ahead and select this, and you can see that most of it, except for this one name over here I forgot to group, is grouped. So the first thing that we're going to do is come up to the top here to the single man. We're going to click on that to ungroup it. And sometimes it may need more, yep, see, more than one ungrouping. Oh no, that's one piece. We're good there. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We're going to take and use this arrow, but we're going to get rid of this heart. We're going to bring this over to here, and we're going to make one piece right here, and then we're going to layer it. So this is not hard, folks. You just have to, I'm going to go slow. A lot of people like the fact that I'm going slow, and I like to go slow because I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. I'd rather not make the mistakes, you know, recording this video live. So that's one of the reasons I go slow. So let's go ahead and do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break this apart, and I want this side and I want this side, but I don't want this one in the middle. So I'm going to select it, just the outside layer, and now I'm going to come over here on the left toolbar to the node edit. I'm going to click on that, and you can see how this graphic was made with all these nodes. So we have to break this apart. So the best place to break it apart is going to be right here, and I'm rolling my mouse wheel to zoom in. So if you ever need to zoom in or out, the mouse wheel is the best way to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it right here. You see this one that just turned red? On my keyboard, I'm going to press the letter B, and that breaks it. See that? I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Now your mouse has to be over it. It has to be selected. Press the letter B, and I didn't do that properly. So I'm going to undo to make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, I'm going to do this again. B, there we go. Now we know that that's broken. So now I have to select it again. I have a new mouse. The DPI on it really stinks, and I have a hard time selecting these things. So now you can see that we've broken this apart from that heart. We have to do the same exact thing on this side. So I'm going to just do this real quickly. Hit the B key. Now you can see that it's broken because you see these Vegas lights? You don't see them on this side, so you know that that's broken. So now we can pull that, and actually I pulled the wrong one away. I want to select on this side, and you can see what trouble I'm having with this mouse selecting. I really need to get another mouse. I thought I was buying a good one when I got this one, but apparently not. So let me zoom in so that I can be a little more accurate. And I'm going to pull this one away. Then I'm going to come over here and select this one, if I can. Bear with me, folks. And here's the other red dot. So we're going to break that one and going to select it again. And this, I'm sorry, this is taking so long, but sometimes that's how it goes. All right, so now we've got it broken apart, as you can see. We're going to come back up here to the top, to the selector tool, or you could press the escape key to get out of the tool. And what we're going to do is drag over everything right here from the left. And we're just going to hit the delete key and get rid of it. Then we're going to drag over everything over here, and with the arrow key, with the left arrow key, I'm not going to move this with the mouse. If I move it with the mouse, it's going to go off target. It's not going to be on the right horizontal plane. So I'm going to use the mouse, and I'm going to bring it way over to there. And let's just check and see how far, what the distance is. So let's see. Let's grab the ruler over on the left side, right here. Move the box out of the way. And let's check the distance from here to here and see what we get. And that is about 21.57 millimeters. So we want this to be about 21.57 millimeters, which would, well, we don't have to be that close, would be right there where that pink line is. See that? So what we're going to do is we're going to move this graphic over until we get to right there. And this is where I use my grid spacing. So I'm going to keep an eye on this grid spacing right here, and I'm going to move this whole thing over with the arrow key. Now I'm going to hold control to move it slowly, and that's about where we want to be, right there. Now we're going to come back over here on the left side to, we're going to actually select one of these. I'm going to select this one. And we're going to come back to Node Edit. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab this green and I'm going to bring it way over here until it connects with the left side. And you saw all the lights turn on when it connected? Now, you see they go all the way around, so we have a good connection. Now I'm going to drag this one over, and I'm going to snap it right. Let me zoom in. I'm going to snap it right to that. And sometimes these don't snap, and the easiest thing to do is do it from the other side when they don't like to snap like that. So now we have a symmetrical piece here. Same distance from here to here as it is from there to there. And it's probably too far, you know, so I'm not going to go back and edit it now because I measured from the wrong spot. I should have measured from the end of this one to here, the end of that one to there. But you know what? Let's go ahead and fix it anyway. Oh, now I have to break this again because we'll just leave it alone. Undo. I'll fix it before I send it to my friend Jerry. So now we can come up here to edit and close path. And we're done. Back to the selector tool. So now we have our outline. Now we're not going to select anything else at this point. What we're going to do is create the second layer. So to do that, I'm going to press the Control key and the letter D. And that duplicates it. Did you see all the lights go away there? We duplicated that outside layer. Now I'll just pull that layer off. And look at that. Quick, easy, 2-layer. Now we have to set the parameters here. So we have to set the cuts and layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one and put that on the cut layer. I'm going to select this one, all of it, and I'm going to put that on the cut layer. I'm going to select this, and I can just come over here, hold down Shift, and drag over all of these because we want all of these on the same cut layer. So now all of this will be cut out, and all of the cutouts will reveal what's behind it. This part in the middle is going to be a second part. So this whole thing will fit over this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this part here. I'm going to duplicate this one as well. So I'm going to press Control and the letter D, duplicate it, and with my arrow key, I'm going to move it down to this one, get it in the right position, like that. And now what I'm going to do is put this on a tool path. Now this inside here is the area that you're going to engrave. Stay with me here because we don't need any of this up here. And the reason so we're going to select it and delete it. The reason we don't need that is because all of this is a top layer cutout. So we want this to be empty here in the middle. Okay, you following? This one here, down on the bottom, we're going to paint this before we run the job. Then when we run the job, let's say we paint this red. Then we run the job and we cut it out of the wood. Following? Once we've cut it out of the wood, we don't move the piece at all. All we do is turn off the output in the cuts and layers for the line, and we put our graphics inside here, and then we just run the job and engrave the graphics. So now we have a red sign. And actually you should do this first. I got that backwards. So take that all back. This is one of the bad things about the live. I don't cut out and edit stuff, you know. I always rethink it as I go. And yeah, so this is the first job you should do. So you've painted it red, you come back, you put your graphics here in the middle, and you run the job. So now you have a red arrow with all the graphics done in here. Now you just simply remove the graphics, put it back on the cut layer, and cut it out. This one is already cut out. This one I would paint white and put it right on top of that one. And now you have the red background, the white second layer. So I'm not going to get into, 7, 8, 9 layers, but it's relatively the same. The only thing that changes are the things that you put in the middle. So for instance, like I did the 8-layer Jesus cross, and with that cross I would change certain things. I would work 2 layers at a time and see what would see through the other layer, and then just change the pieces, the graphics that are inside. So this is a great way to get started if you want to learn how to do multi-layer. And just to give you an idea, let's go ahead and finish this one off. So I would come in here and I would put something like, for me, my wife, I'll put rich, and I'll select that, and I'll put it on the blue layer, and we'll come over here and set that blue layer to fill, and I'll bring this down onto the area that we're going to engrave, which is inside this toolpath. And then what I'll do is, you know, put a little curve to it like that. I'll hold the control key, scale it proportionately, put it like, let's say right there. Then I'll get the ampersand, I don't know why my text wouldn't work there, but it wouldn't. So I'll get the ampersand, I'll grab that, bring this around like that, bring it right up to the middle, and we know this is the middle right here. And then I'll do another text for my wife, my beautiful wife, Evelyn. And actually, you know what? I wouldn't do that. Wait, step backwards. I don't know why I just did that, because I would never do that. What I would do is select my name, press Control and D to duplicate it, right arrow it off, come over to the text tool, or triple click in here. You'll get in there the same way. Back out the letters, put her name in there. And the reason that I did that was because it'll have the same exact rotation as my name. Now I'll use my control button and my arrow keys to move it to a place about equal from the edge as the other one. And maybe I'll move this over just a hair, like so. And then a final touch would be, and this is my saying, so don't steal it. Loving since, and then I'll put 1986, something like that. And then I'll scale this way down. I'm going to bring this over to here, to this point right here. Rotate it to match the curve, similar to that. And then put a curve on it and get it just in the right spot and the right rotation. Something like that. And you know, you can play with this until you feel that you've got a nice matching rotation. I obviously can't, because I have this terrible mouse. And then of course I would put something else in here. I think maybe I would do something like this. Grab the coffee cups, put them on the blue layer. You know, put it in here like that, because we drink a lot of coffee. Just to balance this off a little bit. And there you go. So let's go over these steps one more time. Take your graphic. Let me come back to the camera so I can speak to you. So we're going to take a graphic, any graphic, it doesn't matter what it is. We're going to go ahead and select it. Go into Node Edit. Take off the pieces that we don't want. Manipulate the size to the size that we want. And sometimes you don't even have to Node Edit the graphic. Once we've done that, we're going to duplicate the outside layer of the graphic, the outer line. We're going to move that off. We're going to take and put our graphics in the bottom one that we just duplicated. We're going to use the top one as a cutout. And you know, this is the perfect example. You may need to watch this video twice to understand it, because I've made so many mistakes in it. But you know, the end product I think you'll get. I should probably re-record this, but I don't have time for it. I have so much going on in the shop here. I've got all the new parts for the CO2. I've got the new smoothie board installed in the 40-watt laser. I mean, I've got a bunch of little projects. I've got the HVAC guy coming today to put in a new exhaust system with a larger exhaust. And, you know, the place is a mess. I'm trying to watch Gilligan's Island. I don't have time for it. So anyway, this is it. This is a great first project. What I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit and, you know, make it, I guess, proportionate, whatever you might want to call it. And I'm going to put a link down below where you can download the exact file, cleaned up, obviously. And, you know, you can use this one if you like. if you want to do this yourself. And like I said, make the bottom over here, paint that first. So I would paint this whole thing red. That would be the very first step. Then I would do the engraving, this part here, by coming over to cuts and layers, turning off the cut. And of course, you can't have this on the work plane. Oops, let me undo that. This is not grouped. So let me group this real quick and move it off. So you can't have this anywhere on the workbed. You're only going to be working with this one graphic on your workbed, okay? So as to not confuse you here. So we're working with this one right now, and we've painted it red, and it's ready to go. It's just a piece of wood that's painted red. The first thing we're going to do is do this engraving right here. And this line right here, this toolpath, is only so we know exactly where to put the engraving so that you're going to see it through the two layers. So don't worry about that because there's no output. See up here? No output on the toolpath. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, once you've gotten the engraving done, now you have your red arrow with your black engraving. We're going to turn off that layer and turn on the cut layer. We're going to cut the arrow out. Now, once the arrow is cut out, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to swap places. We're going to take this off the work plane. We're going to grab this one, put it on with another piece of wood, and we're going to cut this one out. You don't need to waste any paint on this one. I would paint the bottom one red and the top one white, and I think it would be an awesome, awesome Valentine's gift. And this is something that I think any husband or wife is going to really appreciate for Valentine's Day. And it's something that you can do really quickly. And speaking of appreciation, I want to take a moment and just give a shout out to some of my large donors. And it seems like I ignore them. You know, I run their names in the video, but I don't mean to ignore people that make these PayPal donations. It's just that for some reason, PayPal doesn't send me their email address. They send me an email telling me who it is, and I go ahead and I post that on my forum. In the Start Here section of my forum, there's a post called Thank You to My Donors. And I list everyone's name in there. But for some reason, I can't make a personal thank you to them in the form of an email. So let me do that right now in this video, if you don't mind. I just want to take a moment. So I want to start with just saying thank you so much for your donations and your support. I really appreciate it. And the first one goes out to William, or Bill Bonham, in New Jersey. And when I was in New Jersey on Thanksgiving, Bill took me out shopping. He bought me a jacket and a hat and my wife's gloves and made a big donation to the channel. And I want to say thank you so much, Bill. And he also gave me some really cool woodworking projects that I brought home. A Christmas tree that I got inspiration for a video that I did on the laser, and a cheese board that we've used several times since we got it. Thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate that. And James Dardis in Nevada. Thank you, James. Ed Ward in Kentucky. Beretke, also in Kentucky. Jan Mueller in Texas. Jan is another one of my big supporters. She supports me regularly, over and over and over again. Thank you so much, Jan. You're just the greatest. Craig Vera in Alabama. Brent Holst in Florida. Paul's Pens in Wisconsin. Nick Vespa, my buddy over at Build Dad Build. Thank you, Nick. TaylorMade Crafts in Oklahoma. I got Martin Kaminsky in Texas. Mark Villio in Massachusetts. And just so many more listed on the website. I just want to give a big shout out and tell all of you guys whose names that I've just mentioned that I've got a special project in the work, some special gifts that I'm going to be sending out to y'all this week. So look for them next week in the mail. Just a special thank you, something I made myself specifically for you, and it's just my way of showing my appreciation. So what do you think about this project? Do you like it? Leave me a comment down below. download the file down below. Don't forget, I've got that Atom Stack A5 M40 laser in the raffle for this month. So go and sign up over at the raffle website, because one of y'all is going to win that laser. And I've also got the A5 M50 coming up. I've got a whole bunch of lasers in the shop that I'm going to do as quickly as I can, and we're going to do a raffle every month. So, you know, I appreciate y'all for watching too, and that's the reason that I'm doing this. My viewers, my subscribers, hey, take a shot at that raffle. You know, and you can enter every day, and there's a few ways that you can enter. And I want one of y'all to get it and benefit from the channel in more ways than just learning Lightburn or learning projects and things like that. I want you all to have some benefit out of this, which is why I'm not keeping it like most other reviewers do. I'm not keeping the products. I'm giving them away to you. So tell me what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.